It is the Riot Podcast. Hello.
Hello. Happy.
Welcome to Monday.
Yeah, happy new week for everybody.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good week. It's easy for us to say since we all have vacation time, but for you, it's going to be a good week too.
Are you excited, Isaiah? Isaiah's going to fill in on Wednesday for me, and then for Hudson on Friday.
Oh, I'm excited. The people have been chanting, so I think they're ready for Hudson to be out of here and Nikki. So I don't know.
Get rid of them. Bring more Isaiah.
Hey, I'm with the people. I'm ready to be out of here.
Well, we have that to look forward to this week.
So what do we have in the podcast today?
So today, Hudson had an interesting experience in a drive-thru that honestly I've never heard of happening before in my entire life.
I haven't either. I still want people to tell us if there's theories as to why this happened.
Yeah, well, I looked up. I tried to look up if
yes, Hudson.
Yes, it's fine. I just talk for a living. I tried to look up to see if there was any documentation of it happening.
Yeah, if anybody else saw it.
I didn't look too deeply into seeing if somebody else happened to post it on Reddit from what I saw this weekend.
Yeah.
But there's millions of Google hits that come up on Reddit and different things over the years of people seeing it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a thing and well, I mean, it's right near the beginning of the podcast, right? I'll spoil it. Somebody was backwards in the drive-thru.
They drove through the drive-thru backwards.
Yeah, they were actually going through because they were between two other cars. So they had to have been driving through the drive-thru.
That means they had to back into the drive-thru because they weren't even driving into the restaurant then the right way. Like, that's just weird.
It really makes you wonder.
I wonder enough about people, but now that's adding more to it.
I know. That's going to keep me up at night.
So we typically when we do these intros, we try to keep it decently cryptic. But this one, I think I can literally say what it is, and I don't think you'll ever guess what it actually is. With the Baked Bean Bandit was on the loose, and you'll never guess why you would consider him a Baked Bean Bandit.
Him or her?
Or her.
That was part of the discussion. We just don't know.
Everybody was texting into it. When you hear this story, you're
everybody
like, that's a dude.
Sexist.
That's a guy. It's a guy doing it.
We just don't know. There's no way of proof. Well, I guess there's a way of proving. But if it does happen to be a guy, it doesn't prove that your assumptions are correct
True.
assumptions.
All right. I'll give you that.
Also, you'd think if something burns to the ground or gets burnt really bad, it would be less valuable. But sometimes it just isn't, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe that's a perk.
I guess it is. I mean, for them.
Yeah.
If your house burns.
So there's property that's sold that there was a fire about it. And there's details on how much would this property burnt be something like, how much would you have to pay for it?
It was a smoking hot deal.
Woo!
Yeah.
I could feel the real estate, blurbs with that right there.
They could have a lot of fun with that one. The Craigslist ads.
This sale will burn too fast if you don't hurry now.
It's going like wildfire.
Too soon. We don't do that
we can't
one.
do that.
No.
And we get to end on that note. Thanks, Hudson, for being so insensitive.
And it was in California too. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't mean it that way.
You're just awful.
It's fine. It's just it's a tough Monday, and I claim responsibility for my actions. I should have known better.
Nothing about that.
Any day of the week.
Thank you guys. Let's just move on. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate every podcast listener, and text and say hi at 877-2RadioU and send us something if you want us to cover it in the podcast for tomorrow.
Don't forget to leave a nice review and then unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Maybe you shouldn't have left the review part right there, but that's fine. Maybe another day.
Well, we can all take a moment and appreciate my willingness to apologize right away after I made an insensitive comment. How about that?
That sounds good.
Why don't we look on the bright side?
That's good. He's got chances to apologize maybe in tomorrow's podcast as well. We'll see.
I should apologize for every day.
Thanks for listening, guys.
It is the Riot.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I don't know about you, Nikki, but I had an eventful weekend.
You had something happen?
I went to the zoo.
Whoa.
I went camping in my backyard.
You did?
With a bonfire and everything.
Are you getting ready? Like that was your pre-vacation before your vacation?
Right. Because you didn't want this weekend to go to waste, so you wanted to feel like it was still something exciting was happening. Yeah. So that was it. But all of that going on, and that wasn't as interesting as what I saw at the McDonald's drive-thru, where there was a red Mustang going through the drive-thru backwards.
Why?
That's what I don't know.
Well, did you ask?
No.
We
Was
should
I supposed to
ask.
roll down my window and ask?
Yes,
What are you
that's
doing?
important because if not, you can't bring it up to us like us to wonder.
Well, now we all have to theorize. Or I thought maybe somebody knows the Red Mustang backwards drive-through guy.
I drive backwards. Do you think it is because of the car or just something through?
Well, I think the obvious reason is they were showing off, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Second possible reason, this one, it's a little wacky, but what if they are very concerned about the virus, so they really wanted the social distance, so they had to have the whole empty seat between them and the drive-through window, and that's the only way to do it?
Okay, because they were going backwards through it. They were on the other side then.
Option 3, the passenger, whoever was in the passenger seat, was very adamant, whether it was them or the driver themselves, that was like the passenger has to order.
Yeah.
And pick the food up. Or, fourth option, the window doesn't go down on the driver's side.
And I feel like it might be something more like part of the car malfunctioned or something.
It could be, but the car looked pretty nice. Like
How
it wasn't.
old were they?
I couldn't see the person.
Yeah.
I didn't get that good of a look, but the car looked fairly new and it like fairly decent. Like they spent, like it was, maybe they had even gotten some work done on it. So I don't think it was the window.
So why would you have it then go backwards?
Yeah.
Why reverse through a drive-through?
I still think the simplest explanation is they just wanted to show off.
Go back.
In the middle of a Sunday
Go back and ask the workers.
at a McDonald's drive-through.
That was their moment. We need sometimes something. And that's what the person
and
needed.
Just having the nice shiny red Mustang wasn't enough. They had to take it through backwards. Hey, everybody, look at me.
Well,
I'm getting a McDouble.
If you love your new shiny car so much, I would think driving it backwards through a drive-through would be dangerous.
It does seem that way.
Because I would totally clip something.
Yeah, especially having to go through the, all the stanchions. Maybe this is a dad taking it to the next level. Because dads are always backing into parking spaces.
I don't think like this.
And no, this is like a dad. He's like,
everybody
can back into a parking space. That's child's play.
Yeah,
Look at me. I'm going to be the best dad in town.
Maybe
I'm
he's
going to back through the
point.
whole drive-through.
Well, if anybody's a car person or if there's a theory
or
that you have. Like, if you've done this before, do you know what this guy's going through? If you text 877 to RadioU, like, why in the world would this guy in the Mustang drive backwards through the McDonald's drive-through?
Yeah, we
You totally should have put on Reddit. Like, where's your video at?
It happened as I was driving by, so I didn't get a chance to snap a picture.
Yeah.
Because, it's almost like, okay.
You should have backed up and driven backwards at him. Everybody would have been like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Then all the other people are like, wait, are we the ones driving backwards?
Are we supposed to not go forward anymore? Is this a new trend?
But I thought, why... I wish I could have gotten a picture because then you would see that I'm not making it up. But then again, it's just somebody. If I was going to make something up, why would I make up a car going backwards to the drive-thru?
I totally believe you.
Yeah.
I just don't know why. I don't have a good answer why I think this guy was going backwards.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's plaguing my mind. It really is.
That one is a bother.
Yeah. Well, we may never, I'm sure we'll never know unless we get that guy on the phone.
What you need to do is scour our local Reddit forums and especially the fast food ones because I bet you someone else did post about them.
Oh, the McDonald's workers had to have something to say about that.
Someone got the guy doing this, and then maybe they'll be able to uncover why.
Maybe so.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
It's not just Nikki and I. It's Isaiah, of course.
Good
Can't
morning,
forget.
Isaiah.
Good morning, everybody.
About Mr. News and Traffic himself, and also Mr. Sports, right?
Yes, sir.
You and me, we've got the sports angle covered. And Nikki, I don't want to leave you out.
No, I'm happy to be in the stands, cheering you guys along. Yay! Sports.
Yeah. So, did you see the story from a few days ago that somebody has placed a big bet on the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl? They bet over $2,700 for the Jets to win the Super Bowl.
And that was through DraftKings?
Yeah.
Is that a lot through DraftKings? Or
yeah.
It's probably about as much as they'll let you bet on a team to win the Super Bowl at this point.
Oh, I see.
But what's crazy is because the Jets are one of the longest odd teams to win the Super Bowl. So with a betting $2,700 on it, buddy.
Easy there. One's a lot bigger.
I think the guy who made the bet just got worried. Like, wait,
he did.
Was it 27,000?
His heart dropped to his stomach.
He's like, Hudson, I know you don't like numbers as much, but please don't do that to me.
This was just supposed to get me in the news, not put me in the poorhouse.
So it looks like if they put it on the Jets to win the AFC Championship, and if that happens, he would get $209,000.
Oh, yeah, not even the Super Bowl.
It's not even the Super Bowl.
So, you bet anybody to win that, like, predicting that far ahead, you're going to win a lot of money.
Yeah.
But especially when it's the Jets who are not going to do that. So you're not going to win a lot of money.
You don't know, Hudson. They can do it. They can do it. No, they cannot do it.
Is this where you're going to...
0% chance that happens.
Are they just not good enough? Or?
No.
Aww.
They're not good. But I don't know.
Was he just trying to make attention, or?
Except that we don't know his name or anything.
He's just trying to throw away money, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe, what if it was somebody, I guess it would be improper if it was somebody at DraftKings and they were like, hey, what if we bet on the Jets? And everybody would think that's ridiculous.
Sure.
But then at least they'd be talking about us, DraftKings.
A weird promo stunt.
Yeah, I don't think they're allowed to do that.
Well, I mean, they're not allowed to do a lot of things.
They still do
Just
it.
be what it is. I actually enjoy reading the comments. Someone's like, someone needs points on their credit card.
Yeah.
And the benefits of being wealthy, or maybe they just know something about the Jets this season that no one else knows.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe they think they do, I guess.
I hope there's not a lot of people out there going, well, if there's some guy, and literally an anonymous guy betting $2,700 on the Jets to win the AFC Championship,
sure,
they must know something. So I'm going to also bet on that. I really hope that nobody's doing that one.
Here's some more, Isaiah, some more comments people made. Puppy bowl, maybe.
Oh, my gosh.
A fool and his money are soon parted, especially betting on the Jets.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you think this is what happens every year? It's like after the first preseason game, everyone's like, oh, my gosh, our team's going to be so good, and get all excited. All the bad teams get really excited during the preseason, where all of the good teams are not excited during the preseason because their good players aren't even playing.
That's right. Aaron Rodgers didn't even play for even in the Jets' first preseason game, which was over the weekend, they played the Giants, and the Giants didn't start anybody of value, so they weren't taking it seriously. So I don't know if you can look at the Jets and how they did in their first preseason game and take anything away from that.
You shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
Well, if you two were tempted on placing a bet on DraftKings, I'll leave you with this last comment. Bet responsibly.
Yes.
This is a public service message. Thank you to that person for the Jets bet.
I don't think this Jets fan got the memo on
His
that
wife's
one.
really mad.
Yeah. He's got to call a hotline to get some intervention there.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on RadioU.
Box office numbers over the weekend. Free Guy, more like $28.4 million guy.
Way to go, Hudson. But they sure do wish it was way more money, guy.
Yeah, well, that's how much they made domestically, but maybe I should say more like $100 million guy, because that's how much they spent to make the movie. And when you take that into account, it makes it feel a lot less impressive.
Yeah, so Free Guy was number one over the box office weekend.
And if you're like me and you're like, what actually is Free Guy?
Oh, yeah.
It is the one with Ryan Reynolds, and that much I gathered. But I guess it's a movie where he is like in a video game and then he's let out of the video game.
It's bad. I hardly saw anything before its release.
Yeah.
So I didn't even catch, I don't even think I watched the trailer for it.
Well, to be fair, I feel like I saw a decent amount of headlines about it. And when I saw it was Ryan, when I saw it was Ryan Reynolds, I was like, I don't really care.
Aww.
You know, sorry, Ryan.
We've talked before. He's just one of those people where a couple of roles seem to work well, and then all of his other movies aren't always the best.
Well, he seems to be treated like he's a big
like a god.
Hollywood A-lister.
I know.
But outside of Deadpool, does he command that kind of respect? And I
understand
don't
what you're
think
saying.
that he actually really does.
So for Free Guy, it made $22.5 million internationally, I believe, as well. So it was a $51 million total worldwide for it.
Yeah.
But like Hudson said, the problem is it did cost over $100 million to make.
And it's not like it was on a streaming service. In fact, that's something that was unique about this one. Mm-hmm. It's the first major release, like big budget movie to be released during the pandemic that wasn't on streaming, and also wasn't a sequel to a bigger franchise. Because like F9, Quiet Place Part 2.
Those are all sequels.
The G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, which that's nice to lump it in with these ones, you know? That's very generous of this article, but it's the first one that wasn't a sequel to something else.
Sure.
That was a major big budget release and only to get released in theaters. And it did not do, I don't know, like there's different ways to look at it. It technically, I don't know if it's right around the same amount of money that the Suicide Squad got on its opening weekend last weekend.
They were also disappointed.
But yes, that was disappointing. And the Suicide Squad also presumably made some kind of money for HBO Max being on streaming.
Sure.
Where Free Guy that's the money it made is the money it made.
So Free Guy was 1. 2 was Don't Breathe 2. That made $10 million. 3 was Jungle Cruise. That made $9 million. Its total is up over 80,000 or 80 million. Oh, that'd be terrible.
Now you're doing the number thing.
Number 4 was Respect. And number 5, the Suicide Squad went down to number 5.
So it's still not seeing good numbers for movie theaters.
Maybe. Could be said we're not seeing good movies.
Yeah, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. When is something good going to come along?
I feel like movies just kind of changed. If you want to watch something, now I'll just watch it at home. And I miss going to the theaters, but I don't miss all that stuff with it.
It feels that at the very minimum, with the pandemic, when we are already heading this way, a movie has to be so much more exciting to get you go to the theaters.
Yeah.
And we
haven't seen that yet.
And it has to be very exciting and also not on streaming to get you to go to theaters. And we aren't getting a lot of those.
The Free Guy was not it.
No, that's not it. But hey, 28.4 million in a pandemic.
That's exactly what they're saying at the studios to make themselves feel better.
It's a pandemic.
This is The Riot. Radio U.
Dr. Pepper mixed with chocolate.
Yeah, bring it on.
How's that sound? Is that something we can get behind?
I think it does. This has been everywhere all over the weekend. I feel like Dr. Pepper had a chocolate version before, but this is something new.
Yeah,
it's fantastic chocolate.
I don't know if I remember a Dr. Pepper chocolate, but what I do remember is back in the day, they would sell soda mix-in tubes that you could buy they would have them with the little 20 ounces.
Yeah.
And if you could buy one with it and then just mix it in, and they would have chocolate as an option. That was back in, I don't know how long ago it was, but also I think I've seen in these soda fountains that have the little squirters you can add in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You could do chocolate in some of those as well.
And it looks like there was a cherry chocolate kind of back in the day. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But for Dr. Pepper, this new fantastic chocolate drink that you've been seeing over the weekend is not for just anybody to get.
No, yeah. Before you get too excited, you can't just go to the store and buy it.
Of course not.
How foolish of us to think that would be that simple. It's limited edition, and to get it, you need to be a member of their Pepper Perks Rewards program, which they just launched. So what you have to do is sign up for Pepper Perks, start buying a whole bunch of other Dr. Pepper products, and then scanning in the codes.
Oh, the QR
and eventually, if you get enough points from all the Dr. Pepper you're drinking, you can drink even more Dr. Pepper.
Now, I used to drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. Canada Dry's come in and taken over that spot.
Oh, yeah?
But
is Canada Dry made by Dr. Pepper, though?
I don't think it is. Dr. Pepper is the one where it makes, like, it's Pepsi, I think. Or is it Coke? It's one of the two. I think it's Pepsi. But
I don't know. I thought it was its own thing.
But it's its own thing within that entity of it.
Okay.
But I feel like, you remember when you were a kid and you needed people to do the the box top things for your school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I need everybody to get me your cans of
Really?
Dr. Pepper. No, I'm not going to.
I was like, wait, did we find something that Nikki is that excited about? She really wants to try the chocolate Dr. Pepper?
Well, I do, but not enough to work at it.
Well, how about enough to buy it from somebody on eBay?
If they have it?
Do you like it that much? I'm sure you can find it on there.
I wonder. I bet this will take some time. So fans can also enter a chance to win a trip to the college football playoff, the national championship, and redeem other Dr. Pepper gear.
Now, I'm seeing that soda insiders have already gotten their hands on some cans. Mm-hmm. How are we not soda insiders?
We are... I don't think influencers enough in the Dr. Pepper world. So I think
you
we
don't
need
think?
I don't think so.
Because Candy Hunting only has 4,252 Twitter followers, and they got their.
Come on!
I know, that's what I'm saying.
We just didn't work enough at it.
We need to submit Can we submit something to the different soda brands? Hello, we would like to be soda insiders, please.
I would love to have the chocolate one. Let's see. Angela texted in, Dr. Pepper is officially owned by 7-Up, but has an agreement with Coke and Pepsi to sell their products with them.
Who knew that 7-Up was big enough to own anything?
Well, I think that's all they're counting on.
I didn't even know 7-Up still existed.
Dude, 7-Up's only there for when you're sick and you can't find Sprite. That's all it is.
And Sierra Mist.
And Sierra Mist.
And whatever the other options are for 7-Up is so down the list. Also, if you can't find Canada Dry or just every other soda, you finally land on 7-Up.
So if anybody starts collecting the Dr. Pepper perks, let us know how it goes. But you have to get enough, and then suddenly you meet that magical number, and they'll send you the Dr. Pepper Fantastic Chocolate.
It has to be such a small amount of people that are going to get excited about this, don't you think?
Probably.
Enough to go through the trouble.
Yeah.
What really is going to happen is there's probably a decent amount of people that will initially buy the Dr. Pepper and sign up for the perks, and then they'll realize how many millions of cans of Dr. Pepper they'd have to drink to get to the chocolate-covered cherry soda. So,
Dr. Pepper doesn't care. They want you to just sign up.
Yeah, they just want your email. Mm-hmm. That's all they want.
I want the can.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than help. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
So there is a bandit on the loose in the UK that has been, he's now known as the Baked Bean Bandit.
What's he doing? Stealing baked beans?
Actually, no.
What else is there then?
You might think the Baked Bean Bandit, maybe they're going to a bunch of potlucks. Maybe.
What's he going for? Well, I thought he was breaking into people's houses and stealing all the cans of baked beans.
Nope, not even that. It's in fact quite the opposite. The Baked Bean Bandit is spreading baked beans all over the small town of Wonersh in Surrey in the UK.
He's pouring them on things.
Yeah,
so it's like a vandalism thing.
Yeah, this person, it could be a woman, we don't know, man or woman.
It feels like a guy.
It does. Wow. How sexist of you.
I can.
Really?
I can with this one. It
really?
feels totally like a guy. Because I'd be like, listen, I'll say it. I'd be like, how can I put this in my pantry? I need to keep these beans. I can use these. So I feel like this is a guy who's wasting baked beans.
You just don't know. You have no idea.
I don't need to know.
It could easily be a woman.
No, but
it's all equal.
And
there's an equal chance that it's a woman.
It feels so British too, because I know baked beans are so much more popular there.
Yeah.
Where here it'd be like, is that baked beans?
Again,
I don't even have
if it wasn't at a potluck, you'd kind of be wondering.
You wouldn't even know.
But in the UK, they just have it for breakfast, and apparently this person is dumping them on people's cars that are sitting in their driveway. And through the little, some people in their front doors, they have a mail slot.
Oh,
they're pouring it in the front door in the slot. So it's getting all over the entryway to the people's homes.
That's awful, but amazing at the same time. You feel like some animal's been sick everywhere.
And what's amazing is that I guess it's happened enough that people are actually reporting it. Because if this was me, if somebody dumped baked beans on my car, I think I'd just be, unless it kept happening over and over, I'd just be like,
you
whatever.
Wouldn't say anything.
No, you just hose it off and be on your way.
But they're
It'd be
saying
a weird way to start the day, but
this is unacceptable behavior. And because it's mostly because it's a small village, like it's a very small town, the residents are all talking to each other and they've all realized they've had beans poured on something on their house or their cars overnight.
So if it's a small town, you just got to have one person stay up late
and find out.
And figure it out. I guess. That's the only way, right?
It's someone who's just mad. That's it.
Or who's mad at baked beans.
Well, mad at probably something to do with like they didn't get approval for something from the city or the village. And they're just mad
for
at the
their
village.
new bean restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. And so they'll show them and now they're just pouring beans. Why can't you just ask the grocery store like who's buying all the beans?
That's a good point, right? This we would be great detectives.
This doesn't seem like this would be too hard to find because the town only has like 3,000 people in it, so you could totally find out.
But if it's the UK and everybody's buying so many baked beans because they eat them for breakfast, then maybe it's not so easy to track the one person down who's buying them and using them for other purposes.
Well, no need to give people ideas here. I'm not sure if this happened in the United States. Would baked beans be the choice? But they're saying that they're still trying to...
Potato salad.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that'll smell, though. That'll go bad quick.
Ew, it already smells bad.
Speak for yourself. I don't mind it. If it was like a macaroni salad. But they're still trying to figure out, and they want someone to come forward with information on if your friend is the one who's doing this vandalism.
So if you know the Baked Bean Bandit, just if you're Bush, just let us know.
Oh, for the dog? From
yeah,
the
what if it's the dog? He's tired of being in the commercials all the time.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast, RadioU.
Speaking of coffee, Starbucks. Why do we get one of these stories like once a week?
Well, I also feel like we're getting conflicting messages, and you'll hear one story, and then you'll hear the Starbucks corporate be like, no.
Yep. In this case,
do what you want.
They're both going back and forth in the same story.
So you guys need to decide, like you guys meaning Starbucks and their baristas, and then you tell us what we're supposed to do.
I think the truth is, so here's the story. Starbucks baristas say they're fed up with complex custom drink orders that converge on the ridiculous.
And that comes out every couple of weeks. You'll get this article and this big story about that. That's nothing new.
And then Starbucks, their executives come back, a Starbucks representative, and said 75% of customized beverages at Starbucks had fewer than 3 unique modifications. So it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
And so that's the story. I think, first of all, maybe... it's just the fact that if you polled any fast food workers, if you got a dozen randomly selected fast food workers from any restaurant, there'd probably be a bunch of them would say, we're fed up with doing something.
Yeah.
And it's just Starbucks is the one that is newsworthy enough. You know, nobody's going to Raising Cane's and saying...
Well,
we're fed up with making all the chicken fingers.
They're limited on the changes they can make.
But I bet you they have maybe their employees, they have something else to complain. It's like, we're fed up with the clamshells that we use. They always are breaking, and it's causing us to slow down our order times, and we're not getting paid enough for it or something.
Baristas can't handle the excessive, ridiculous, and what they call disgusting orders.
Yeah.
So I think what made this article trend was that they had shown that someone took wanted their egg bites from Starbucks to be blended in with their drink.
Yeah.
And that made news because people were like, that's gross.
Well, who are the Starbucks baristas to tell us what is and isn't gross?
And the more you ask people to not do that, the more they're coming up with grosser combinations.
It's almost like, because the other player in this whole situation is TikTok.
Yeah.
Not as a company, but the TikTok trends are what many are attributing all of these complicated orders to, because one person on TikTok will show their ridiculous order, or maybe even Starbucks baristas show, look at this ridiculous order somebody put in, and then other people are like, oh, that sounds good, or I'd like to mess with the Starbucks baristas.
I'm ordering it.
And so then they start ordering it at their location, and it just goes from there. So either way, maybe in a sense, the Starbucks baristas complaining is actually making it worse for themselves, because then it starts the trends online.
I don't know. I feel like every time they do this, we break even, because then Starbucks comes back, like we said, and says, hey, baristas say the complex drinks slow down orders for everybody else. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people get angry. What was the one... over the weekend, the Chipotle mobile order. Did you see that video?
No, I did not.
It's the manager who's doing it, and she's screaming at the guy because he was waiting like 20 minutes, and he goes in to ask about his order.
Yeah.
She throws scissors at him.
No.
Lobs them at him.
That's assault. Isn't it? Attempted assault?
Absolutely. And so she was losing it.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Baristas and stuff, they say that people get angry also when the customized drinks aren't made perfectly. Because sometimes if you even order it on your Starbucks app, it can be confusing to some and they still get it wrong.
That's another issue, is if people are going to get belligerent or just be rude with your order. But, I mean, they can put in whatever order they want. They're still paying for it. But I think the other thing that plays into this is that so much of ordering is done on mobile. It's not done face to face.
Yeah.
And so there is quotes where the baristas are like, they treat us like coffee making robots. Yeah, because all you see is a Starbucks mobile app interface. It's not actually a person face-to-face.
Sure.
And Nikki, you and I mention a lot of times how we don't like ordering face-to-face.
I don't.
Because we don't like the judgment.
I don't
And we're
like
not doing anything complicated like this. But so maybe some people need the judgment.
I don't know. This
maybe
makes me...
some people need to have the cashier or the Starbucks barista giving them the
look?
Raised eyebrow or the rolled eyes when they put the egg bites in their drink.
It's too much anxiety even just for me, and I'm not even making orders. So I don't even want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Either way, I'm sure we'll get an update on this in another week about, again, the baristas not being happy because of a new order. So
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
And if you missed The Suicide Squad on HBO Max, it's not too late. It's still on there.
Why are we throwing that in there?
Because it was number one at the box office a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was Sylvester Stallone's 6th straight decade now with a number one movie.
Which one is he? Is he
He's the shark, King Shark.
No.
He is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's the shark in the
He's
Suicide
the King
Squad?
Shark in the Suicide Squad.
I don't think that motivates me to see it.
I don't know if he did the motion capture. I'm assuming he didn't, but he did do the voice.
I wish he did the motion capture.
Yeah, that'd be great. The shark is possibly my favorite character in the movie.
Oh.
It's definitely entertaining. And so think about that. Because it hit number one over the, when did it release? Was it last weekend?
The weekend before, yeah.
Last weekend. So when it hit number one, that marks every decade since the 70s. He's had a number one movie. Going back to in the 70s, it was Rocky. In the 80s, he did Rocky and Rambo movies that got to number one. In the 90s, something. In the 2000s.
I was going to say, where's the list at?
Well, this says Cliffhanger. I've never heard of that. And I also thought that Demolition Man was in the 90s, and I thought maybe that was number one, but it's not listed on here. In the 2000s, something called Driven, another one I've never heard of. And then you get to more. Oh,
that's the car movie. Did you ever see that? It's a racing movie.
Nope.
I saw that on Amazon Prime once.
Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah.
So you'll watch that and you won't watch The Suicide Squad.
No, I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, you haven't gotten to it?
To it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, add it to the list.
And then you had the Expendables. And so, then the Suicide Squad is his most recent one.
Yeah. So that's an impressive run right there.
So how old is Sylvester Stallone?
Now, that's a good question.
How old is Sylvester? Yeah, thank you very much. You want to make it sound, wow, he's 75 years old.
So he's been making number one movies since he was 5.
Maybe.
He must have been pretty young in Rocky.
I don't know.
75. Carry the one.
Wait, go back to typing. How?
When was he born?
How old was Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 1? Is Rocky 1 it pulls up the same page.
Well, let's see. It was in the 70s, and he's in his 70s.
Yeah, let's do the math. All right. He's just old. All right,
yeah.
He's just old.
Well, he must have been born in the 50s, so he must have been around, I'm guessing about 20-some.
Oh, no, he was born in 1946.
46. So he was 30 already?
Yeah.
My math is way off. On something here.
It says July 6, 1946, unless they're just lying.
So maybe he was then. Well, does that make sense? Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah.
75. Wow. Join Hudson and Nikki for math.
I'm just telling you the numbers.
For math on the air.
Yay. It's hard.
Tune in next week for Hooked on Phonics.
We're just so good, aren't we? It's hard because Sylvester Stallone, I mean, at 75, he can look old.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look old. He looks, when people in Hollywood look old but then younger, like they're trying a lot to look young, and you're just like, wow, what is all that? That's how he looks.
But then that does make him fit perfectly kind of when he does when he keeps playing Rocky in the Creed movies now.
Sure, because it always,
sometimes you just need that look, that like beaten up, been through a lot, but also had some work done. That it fits.
That exact
one. It totally fits.
Or you just do the voice work for the shark and the Suicide Squad.
Then it doesn't matter how you look at all. Yeah.
Well, that's good for him though. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's not too many actors that can say that, if any. So good for him. Maybe Robert De Niro might be the only other one.
Oh yeah, because he's older too.
He's been around a long time.
Hudson sees the glass as half empty. But get this, he thinks a glass half empty is good. The Riot RadioU.
If you were buying a house that had been burned to the studs, you think you might get a discount on that?
Well, I think it would lessen it, what it has to offer.
Because you're going to have to pour a bunch of money into fixing it up.
Oh,
that's a real fixer-upper right there.
Well, at that point, I never understand. I'm looking at a picture of the house. I don't even understand why they call that a fixer-upper. That is like you're building a new house at that point.
That feels like a cutesy way for them to sell it. Like,
there's so much damage to even the studs, like the frame of it, that I would feel like you just have to tear it all down.
Right. What's even the point? And maybe that's what the buyer will do with it. But nevertheless, this house in Walnut Creek, California, about an hour and a half from San Francisco, it sold for over $850,000. And that was the asking price was $850,000, and it sold for well over that.
They got
even
more
after
money than that?
They got more. So that, I mean, you're talking close to $1 million. Well,
I guess
for this house that is not actually a house.
If you're close to San Francisco, I mean, an hour and a half, that can be a common. What's the word when you drive to work?
Commute?
Thank you. I don't have one. So it's been a while. I'm like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
But my only worry to be, and it doesn't say this, is why did it catch on fire? Because so much of areas in that park can be, like, was it a wildfire? Was it someone set it on fire? Was it an accident in the house? Because I wouldn't want to be in the area if your house burns.
Yeah.
If it could be a potential problem in the future again.
I feel like it would be mentioned if, I'm assuming it was just an accidental fire. Because I think if it was I mean, all the stuff around it, there's nice trees and everything. So unless the house got burned down a long time ago, or those trees have to have been there, right? So they would have burned down too if it was a wildfire.
Who knows?
So maybe it must have just been like a random house fire type situation. And it doesn't mention how long ago, though, the fire took place. It's just that the house has been burned almost to the ground. It's just studs is left. So, but what I was wondering is, like, don't you think it was on the market for 3 days and got 8 offers, and obviously it went well over the asking price, so close to $1 million. So I'm thinking somebody had to have bought it sight unseen.
Probably.
You think?
Probably
it's just like
for some
investment company that's just like, it doesn't matter what the house looks like. That's not even what we're concerned with.
Now the housing market, especially in our area, is so still hot right now.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel bad for the times when someone just has like a normal house.
Yeah.
And you can't get someone to buy it. But then you're like, here's this house that's been completely burned down and it's getting almost $1 million in 3 days. It's like, great. It is different, though. I mean, like, $1 million there is different compared to other areas not so close to San Francisco.
Yeah, it was obviously whoever bought it, they just thought money is no object except for, it's just a tool for us.
I guess it's a nice area.
And maybe it burned down because they say it's near Mount Diablo State Park. Mount Diablo State Park It's just
you're saying Diablo had something to do with it?
Yep, I'm saying you're tempting fate is what I'm saying.
At that point, I'd be like, did I burn it down, for like the insurance money?
Right.
And then you go and sell it and then you make more money?
Yeah, you have to wonder. You do.
I'm not saying that would have been what one would do, but that seems suspicious.
And then again, it does make you feel bad if you're in the market to buy a house and you're like, there's just no hope.
Never going to get
You'll
one.
never have enough money.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Remember Murder Hornets?
Yes. Do we still have those?
Not only
that's just mostly in certain areas.
Yeah. Well, you guess why I'm bringing it up?
Are they back?
They're back.
Did they never leave?
Some might say that, but they are saying, so the reason they're in the news is because we just had our first live murder hornet sighting of 2021.
Where is it at?
It's in Washington State.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's normally where we hear about it.
Yeah. They've been up in the West Coast situation area for a while. And however, I see this as good news because this is August 16th now?
Yeah.
And this is the first live one of the year. That tells me we haven't seen them for at least 8 months. So, I think that's good.
I think they like to show up when they lay low during certain times.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, all right,
when the headlines start to, they have a hideout.
Over.
Right.
Like, let's come on out now. Okay, we will.
Well, maybe they're laying low because of what entomologists have been doing when they find them. Because did you hear this? This was from last October when they were first finding them and taking care of them because we do not want murder hornets becoming an issue here in the U.S. So in the state of Washington last October, the entomologists, the WSDA's pest program, which is the Washington State Department of Agriculture, they removed 98 worker hornets.
Oh, wow.
85 hornets were vacuumed out of a nest.
Yes, that's what you do.
And then 13 live hornets were collected also. So they
Did they burn them or what did they do after it?
I don't know. Maybe just vacuuming them out just kills them right then and there.
Tiny little pillow.
I mean, how are they going to get
their face?
Yeah.
Smother them. Tell them it'll be better later.
Yep.
Shh.
You're going to a nice big nest in Japan somewhere.
The nest in the sky.
Yeah.
Just go away.
Yeah. So I guess it sounds like an entomologist success story.
Yeah. So this is closer to the Canadian border. A resident came forward and said, hey, I think there's a murder hornet here. And then the WSDA confirmed that it was an Asian giant hornet, which is a murder hornet, and that's it.
So I wonder if they are in more of an issue in Canada, because I know in British Columbia they were also seeing them, and we're talking about how this one was just on the American side of the border. So maybe in British Columbia they're still experiencing murder hornets a little more frequently. But man, they have a graphic down here that has like
how big they
all
are?
of the different hornets. And you can see why they call them the giant hornet.
Honestly, they could be big boned. I don't know. They're bigger than everything else. And they say that, and this is why, don't worry, I don't have these near me, but they say that if you have paper wasps like in your area, they build a paper wasp nest. The murder hornets are known for attacking those nests.
And taking them out.
So they're killing each other. And that's normally when you'll find out if you have a murder hornet problem, because they'll come attack the other things on your property.
So that's why all bugs.
They rip the heads off of honeybees and they feed the bodies to their young.
Oh
my God.
We need the honeybees.
Yes. I'm sorry to leave you guys with that, but I just read that. They can fly at speeds up to 20 miles per hour. Their stingers are long enough to puncture most beekeeping suits. No, it's fine. Everything's fine.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.